We're going to turn this into 10 jars of jelly.
So today is a jelly making day. I was very excited I did not have to open up one of my remaining unopened cases of jars. I had enough small jars lying around. Some of these people brought back, some of these were ones that we used as a family. But yeah, so I'll just sterilize these. I have some new lids. And this, with some water, is about all we need to make jelly. So we've got our pectin, sugar, my dried hibiscus, and lemon juice. Which, yeah. Anyway, so I'm making a hibiscus jelly. I've been told it's supposed to taste similar to a cranberry sauce, so this is what we're going to use for cranberry sauce for the holidays. And why I'm in the hole. I'm making jelly today. I know it's getting close to Thanksgiving, and this is why I want it. I found the recipe on ecocommunity something or another. I will put a link in the description for it. I'm not using the teaspoon of butter the recipe calls for. But otherwise, I'm sticking pretty close to the recipe. And let's make some jelly.
So the first step is to measure out all of my ingredients beforehand so that it all runs smoothly while I'm making it. This is the pectin. I do have the big canister of pectin instead of having the little packets of Sure-Gel. So I'm trying to measure out about 1.75 ounces, even though my scale only goes to 1 decimal point. So we're estimating here, but pretty close anyway. So at this point, we're basically going to make a tea using the 1/2 cup of dried hibiscus calyxes. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, I just boiled some water in a tea kettle and then measured out the 4 cups of boiling water that I needed. And I'd actually done it like set the tea kettle for like I was doing a black tea. But anyway, then I just set a plate over that and let it steep for several minutes. I didn't measure exactly. I just waited until the water got as dark as I wanted it to be. Then I measured out 4 cups of granulated sugar. So while I was measuring out the sugar, I changed my mind about the butter. I've never actually made a jelly with butter, but the instructions said it was supposed to help with the foam on it. So I decided to, and I'm sure my family's just going to love when they see what I did to this butter stick because, that's not normal. But it was easy. There were no markers to measure out, like a teaspoonful on my butter stick. And I'll deny it was me showing forward. But after the tea had steeped, I strained it. And by the way, the calyxes look kind of rubbery and stuff once they've been steeped into tea. Just kind of slimy. But it made a beautiful tea. Look at that color. And I just kind of pressed a little bit of the liquid out to make sure I had as much as possible. And then I added the butter, the pectin, and lemon juice. And I will say, this is just, it is so pretty. I am so happy with this. Now that I've made it with the butter, I'm not sure I would do it again. I don't think it made that much of a difference. And my wife has a friend who's vegan, and I do try to have most of our jellies vegan so that she has a nice selection to choose from at Christmas time. And I'm kind of sprinkling the pectin in and stirring periodically, trying to keep it from clumping up too much. In the past, whenever I did let it clump too much, it didn't dissolve very easily. So I'm hoping that it doesn't, that this sprinkling method will help it dissolve easier and not have great big giant lumps. At this point, we're just trying to bring it to a boil before adding the sugar. And then we start to add the sugar in and a little bit at a time and stir it once again to try to prevent any large clumps that would make it more difficult to dissolve. Let's still get a few lumps as you see in here, but at that time I'll pause putting sugar in and we'll stir until it is thoroughly dissolved. Once I have all the sugar in, I'm just trying to bring it up to a boil, and then it needs to boil about 3 minutes. So once it hit boiling, I mean, it boiled fast and hard very quickly. I did try turning down the heat and continue stirring it and to prevent it from boiling over, because like I said, it exploded. I mean, it only had half the pan filled, and then when it started to hit boil, it was immediately filled the pan. This seems to have worked, and I'm actually very happy with how the jelly turned out. So now it's time to fill the jars. I actually thought I had sterilized more jars than I needed. Turns out I was wrong. Um, but I'm just ladling this in. I usually do it from just at the base of that, where that funnel touches the bottom of the funnel. And then I go around the rim with a paper towel with some distilled white vinegar on it to make sure that the lid is perfectly clean. And then I get the lid out with one of those little magnetic sticks. I have them in a pot of water boiling, so they're nice and hot. And then I screw the ring on to finger tight. Okay, so this is hot, and I'm having a hard time holding on to it. So I do get a hand towel to hold onto the jar while I'm screwing the lid on. I'm not sure what took me so long to do that, because it's hot. I know it's hot. I've done this before. Um, but yeah, there it is. And then I use my tongs to then put this in back into the water bath canner and to can my jelly.
So here's everything in the electric canner. By the way, this was a Mother's Day gift. For years, all I used was a stock pot. This is like technically a pressure canner, but it does do water bath canning. And it's meant that I have a little less. I have to watch this closely. So I've really appreciated it because I can sterilize my jars in it and everything. But I just need to put the lid on it and hit play. And I really did meant hit play. And there it goes.
And here are my 10 beautiful jars of hibiscus jelly. It's the first time I've ever made this recipe. I'm pretty excited about it, but it did 6 4-ounce jars and 4 8-ounce jars. And I'm looking forward to having it for the holidays. I will say I tasted it. It's not as tart as I was expecting when they were calling it a Florida cranberry or Jamaican cranberry, but it really is so very good. So I just got some crackers and put a little bit of cream cheese on them and a dollop of the jelly that's in the little extra jar I had. That was like 2 ounces. Because I decided everyone that was currently in the house needed to taste this stuff.
Mmm. Oh, that's good. Yes. Definitely making this stuff again.
So my wife and my mother-in-law both liked this jelly. So we're definitely going to make this again. And yeah, if you are enjoying seeing me can the stuff that I'm growing for my garden, please like and subscribe. And there should be another garden tour soon. There's not much there, but we'll see.